Joint General Secretary of the National Education Union. Thanks for joining us, Kevin. So, the first news of the day in this cabinet reshuffle was the departure of Gavin Williamson from his role. It feels like an eternity ago now, given how many announcements we've had since. But what do you make of that? What was your reaction when you heard that news?
Well, our union, my union, is not politically affiliated. We are always willing to work with government ministers. We're really looking forward to finding out who the new Secretary of State for Education is. We'll really want to engage with them. But I have to say, we can't pretend that we're sorry that Gavin Williamson has gone. He really had lost the confidence of teachers and head teachers, I think of many parents. In fact, I think the Prime Minister should have acted sooner on this matter. Gavin Williamson really wouldn't engage with us during COVID when we were making sensible suggestions that could have made schools safer and therefore kept them open longer. He wouldn't engage with us to talk about a plan B on exams, which meant far too much stress for students, far too much unplanned last minute work for teachers. He wouldn't engage in the CO2 monitors that we'd been pressing for. Didn't move on that till very late on, so they won't get into schools until very late this term. That may lead to more disruption in our schools because those mitigations aren't in place. So like I say, I think Gavin Williamson had lost the confidence of teachers and head teachers. We're open to working with whoever is appointed next. We want someone who can work with us to get the money from the Treasury for education recovery that we really need, that can work with us on school funding, which is a big problem in our country. And currently we're levelling down education funding, not levelling it up. There's so many other things that we have to work on.
And with the departure of Gavin Williamson, obviously we're still waiting to hear who might be appointed to that role. But I mean, do you think that this was something where it was really the groundswell of concern from the sector that was behind this, or was it, simply down to his particular, handling of the crisis? How much do you think the sector was listened to in terms of their concerns over how he did?
It's hard to read that from outside, I think. And lots of people had been speculating that Gavin Williamson would have been moved on sooner after the first round of exam debacle last year, and then after not being ready for it this year. But what surprises me is the Prime Minister's quote says Gavin Williamson has played a key role in transforming the skills agenda. His quote doesn't mention schools at all. It's a real absence in what the Prime Minister has said about him. And I think that tells us something, that the Prime Minister isn't willing to say that Gavin Williamson has done a good job on schools. But then the Prime Minister, if he thought that was the case, he should have acted sooner. So, a lot of this has to be at the Prime Minister's door. Sometimes we felt when we were talking to the DfE or talking to Gavin Williamson, it felt like that actually the decisions were being made in number 10 Downing Street. So let's hope that we get a Secretary of State that will engage with us, will engage with the profession, and can then get some business done with Downing Street and with the Treasury.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for your thoughts there. We will, of course, be finding out. Well, we will bring you details on who the new Education Secretary is once we get it.